So today, I want to talk about Captain America, the First Avenger. The first movie in the Captain America franchise. Brave New World is coming out soon, and I want to see if this movie still holds up. This movie has a lot of cool things going for it that I noticed looking back at it. Like, I love how they depict Captain America. He starts out as this scrawny, weak, little weird, enthusiastic guy, and all he does is just change appearance, but he stays the same. And I love the lesson they have with Captain America, and I think everyone does, about him just being a good man. And I love how this message is repeated throughout the movie and throughout the rest of the franchise. And they do a good job at depicting how he gets there and what he's like, and how even though times get tough, he stays this way.
Do you want to kill Nazis?
I don't want to kill anyone. I don't like bullies. I don't care where they're from.
This movie has a lot of cool lessons like this that I really appreciate. Like, they spend time having long conversations about what it means to be a good person.
Because a strong man who has known power all his life may lose respect for that power. But a weak man knows the value of strength and knows compassion.
And this is really shown by when Stanley Tucci dies. As he's dying, he just points at him in the chest. And you don't need to know what he's saying because you already know what he's talking about from earlier.
Not a perfect soldier, but a good man.
And that's just very subtle and very, very cool. It also has one of the top 5 Stan Lee cameos.
Captain, that's your cue.
I thought he'd be taller.
That's pretty cool. It stars, of course, Chris Evans as Captain America, and he is amazing. Really, really, really good. And it's such a surprise and such a shock because this isn't really who Chris Evans is as a person. If you watch him in anything else, or his behind the scenes stuff, or just him in normal life, he does not act like this. He acts a lot more like his Fantastic Four character.
What? I don't even know what half of that means.
So he's a really good actor because he is not being himself. Hugo Weaving's in this, and he is so good. He plays a proper supervillain. He is just evil at times, and his acting is really good. He feels a lot like Darth Vader in this, and I don't think he gets enough praise for his work. I wish he would have been in more Marvel movies, but I get it. And you have a wonderful cast of characters here as well, from Stanley Tucci as the German scientist guy.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your German that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! Boom!
And he kills it. So funny. His lines are so funny.
All right, we'll drink it after.
No, I don't have procedure to drink it after, drink it now.
You got Hayley Atwell as Peggy Carter, and actually I don't really like her performance as much in the later movies, but in this one it's really good. I'm really invested in Agent Carter and her story, and she's very charismatic. Definitely adds a lot of depth to Captain America as a person, as she wasn't really somebody in the original comics. You got Bucky Barnes, of course, Sebastian Stan playing Bucky Barnes, and he does a great job as well. And then of course you got Tommy Lee Jones as Colonel Phillips. And then you have just a really great cast of other characters, and everyone's acting their pants off in this. Even just simple lines.
What are we taking, everybody?
I'm from Fresno, Ace.
I'm in. The cast is picked out really well, and they're so enjoyable and likable. And I wish a lot of these people would have stuck around for more Marvel movies.
You know how to use that thing?
The director of this movie is Joe Johnston, and he's famously known for doing Jumanji, and he does October Sky, which are both great, great movies. And he's known for being super creative in his movies and just doing an all-around good job. Joe Johnston knows how to direct, and he kills it here as well. I don't think he gets enough credit for his work in this. Dude, the "I'm not gonna kiss you" line.
I'm not kissing you.
This is the best line in the whole movie. It's clever.
Hey, Captain! Sign this!
Is the second funniest joke, okay? Oh, and you have the smiling cat meme. That's an original. I like how this movie also does a good job at showing just how complicated World War II is at this time, and how it's not black and white, Hitler bad, United States good. There's a lot more complications to this.
You know, after the last war, my people struggled. So many people forget that the first country the Nazis invaded was their own.
And that's what great movies do, is try to take things from the past and show you how this could possibly impact you today. And that's just wonderful writing. And it does the World War II stuff very well, of living in New York and going to Germany. It feels old and right for the time. It kind of gets you like excited to live in that time period, but also understand the harsh reality of living then. Something I enjoy from this is that people actually die here. It's cool to watch people die in horrible ways. I've been so numb to these new Marvel movies. It was nice to see people die, because they don't do that anymore. This movie's very creative and different, and not normal. There's a lot of risks being taken, and I feel like Marvel movies today really don't do that as much. They have a whole system for how they make their movies. It's already planned out years in advance. They already have the fights choreographed years in advance, and this was just a lot of risks taken, and it paid off really well. And that's so cool, because Marvel took some risks, and sometimes it didn't pay off. We've seen it before, but this one did. And I wish Marvel would take more risks today like this, because I know they would see a lot more success and a lot more love from the fans. I love the part where it goes from like the funny, silly singing montage of Captain America being happy and awesome to like dirty Europe, and it's like disgusting, and all the soldiers are like dead. Everyone's depressed. It's really hard to tell a story about a comic book character and try to ground it in reality. And it just really shows that this movie knows how to navigate a very campy comic book tone to a very serious, gritty war story. And it manages to ride this line very well. I have never seen this done before, and I don't think I've seen it since. Because it does this, it manages to tell the story of Captain America perfectly. It feels kind of historically accurate. I feel like I'm in something that would have actually happened. It's nice to see something that isn't like, remember the black women lesbian bombers who were in World War II? You remember them? I'm not getting an agenda shoved down my throat. And you can see the early tying in of the Marvel Universe beginning here. They're trying to get some things set up, and it isn't pushy, and it doesn't drag from the story. You don't even notice these things building up. Very thoughtful and very thought through, and I wish we would see this more from the Marvel Universe today. When he picks up the car door and uses it as a shield, and they have like, oh, this is like his first shield that he ever had, and kind of made him turn into Captain America. It does this very subtly. After Captain America's been disappointed trying to do his show for the troops, he just sits down and draws a monkey, and it's like, whoa, Captain America can draw? Where did this come from, and why don't we see this sense? And it just gives a little bit more depth to the character. Yeah, he isn't just a bunch of muscles, he can do other things too. Oh, also, I love the part when he just totally looks at her boobs, like, whoa, I don't remember that part. I've seen this maybe 6 or 7 times, and I've never seen that once. If you look away for 1 minute, he does it. Crazy. He is a straight man. Captain America is a straight man. You cannot prove me wrong. Also, when he walks in, most of the time his Captain America theme is playing, and it goes so hard. Didn't remember that, but it does. Very cool. And I really like the part when he just tries to get totally wasted, and he can't.
This serum wouldn't just affect my muscles, it would affect my cells, which means, I can't get drunk.
And it like should be funny in a normal Marvel movie, but here it's just depressing as crap. It actually made me depressed. It's very cool. Hey, last thing, this got the best Captain America suit. You really can't change my mind on this one. It's the best one because it's tactical and useful. It's got the belt with the pouches, kind of like a parachute sort of situation thing going. Very cool, very tactical. And you know what? I think that's it. This is a super underrated movie. I love getting to watch this movie every time. And if you get the chance, definitely watch it again. You will love it, and it will remind you why you love Marvel movies so much. If I had to rate this movie, I would give it like a 9.2 out of 10. Looking back at this, the storytelling is great, the cinematography is amazing, the actors are all killing it, the visual effects are all pretty stunning. All around this movie is just stunning. It's not much more complicated than that. I enjoyed this movie a lot, actually. It's one of my favorite movies personally because I love Captain America, but I understand why people don't like it as much. It's a great movie, but it really isn't anything more than that. It's not perfect, but it is a great time. This is an easy movie just to turn on and watch in your basement, and sometimes that's hard to find these days.
You gonna be okay?
Yeah, I had a date.
Oh yeah, this movie is so good. It's arguably one of the best Marvel movies, and I think a lot of people would agree with me. And I think this movie sadly gets overlooked a lot because it came out at a time when Marvel was actually not doing too bad.
Dance off, bro. Me and you.
Almost everything they were making was a hit, except for Thor. And it was coming out during a year when almost everything was also a hit. I personally think 2014 is the best year for movies, ever.
Come on. Subtle. take it back.
So first off, the Russo brothers kill it. They do a great job. This is their first time directing a film. I'm a big Community fan, right? It's my favorite TV show. Directed mostly by the Russo brothers.
Hey, Troy. Abed.
And it's super interesting how the Russo brothers went from directing Community over to this.
We did some paintball episodes that were an action genre spoof. Kevin happened to see and went through a very long process to win the movie, but that's the story.
They do an amazing job here. From the writing, from the actors that they choose, from the cinematography. It almost seems like if this flopped, they would never direct again. It's interesting to see the direction that they wanted to go here. Trying to show this old man, which Captain America is an old man, try to reintegrate into society in modern day with his values and his beliefs.
We compromised, sometimes in ways that made us not sleep so well. But we did it so that people could be free. This isn't freedom. This is fear.
I love the scene when they're just on the roof and they kick the guy off.
Oh wait, what about that girl from accounting? Laura?
Lillian, lip piercing, right?
Yeah, she's cute.
Yeah. I'm not ready for that.
It's because Captain America hasn't changed at all. He's still an old guy. He's still the same good man from the previous movie. The writing in this is truly, truly amazing. Trying to teach different lessons with different themes and ideas. Obviously, the lesson in this movie is what it means to have privacy and government oversight and what it means to be free. The price that we pay for that freedom.
The price of freedom is high. It always has been. And it's a price I'm willing to pay.
It's super, super American and almost borderline Republican.
They're eating the dogs, the people that came in. They're eating the cats.
But it's not. It nails it. I've never seen a movie do this before, and I haven't seen it since. Trying to show that the government can be corrupt, and it isn't what it used to be. It does this in a very apolitical way. I didn't really think this is what I get from a Captain America movie. I mean, yes, these themes are talked about in the comics. I didn't think the MCU would have the guts to really talk about these subjects. And I worry that Brave New World really won't delve into these subjects. You go to watch Ant-Man to watch a heist movie, and you go to Spider-Man to watch a coming-of-age movie, but here you come to Captain America to learn what it means to be a good man and what freedom means and privacy. Like, this movie takes 1 second for Nick Fury to talk about his grandpa, to explain defending oneself and preemptive strikes.
Granddad loved people, but he didn't trust them very much.
People give their opinions and you're challenged with, oh, was what Captain America believe actually the right way? And this movie definitely gave me a lot of government distrust.
Chemicals in the water that turn the friggin' frogs gay!
And maybe you want more privacy and maybe you want more freedom and maybe not trust the intelligence agencies.
Take a look at this wreckage. See how there's no plane parts on the ground there?
A missile.
See, it's stuff like this that gives me trust issues.
So my first experience with the Winter Soldier was actually from Avengers: Earth's Mightiest Heroes. They do a great job at addressing the Winter Soldier in this kid's TV show, so I already knew what was going to happen. They actually copy a lot of things, almost like scene for scene from this show.
Bucky. Who's Bucky?
Bucky? Who the hell is Bucky?
Snap out of it, Bucky! Stop calling me that! Stop!
It's James Buchanan Barnes.
Shut up!
Right.
Start it.
You will make a difference.
Mission report now.
It's a great show. Go check it out. Okay, the fight scenes are amazing. We all know this. From the boat scene, to the elevator scene, to the Fury chase, to the freeway, to the helicarrier. They're all really creative. Some of these fighting techniques really haven't been seen before, and they've been kind of copied to death in these later movies. But at the time, this was really amazing.
Hey, that's pretty good.
The CGI is nearly perfect, and the shots with it are amazing. No complaints there whatsoever. I love when he just goes to the museum, because this is a clever way of filling us in on information from the previous film, instead of telling us, while also telling the story of how Captain America is still kind of stuck in the past. It's clever. But what I love from this most is just saying hi to that kid. That's when you really get to see these superheroes be actual heroes on the little stuff they do and who they really are when nobody's watching. I would also describe this movie as it has a lot of tension, a lot of near misses, a lot of explosions, a lot of close calls, lots of tension. And that keeps you staring at the screen the entire time. I realized while watching this, I could not look away. Very cool, very hard to do. Also, Captain America isn't a simp. He is still holding out for that old lady for some reason.
You're alive.
Even though, right? You would not do any better. I would not do any better. But good job, Captain America. The Stan Lee cameo is not top 5, but it is definitely top 10.
Oh, man. I am so fired.
So this movie stars Chris Evans as Captain America again. He nails Captain America to its core. He does a great job, what can I say? And he's wearing, in my personal opinion, the second best Captain America suit. It's really nice to see that his character arc in this of going from someone who truly trusts in the government, institutions, and his superiors to somebody who just trusts in his beliefs and his core values. Falcon is an actual person in this. He isn't whatever the heck is going on in the later stuff.
You've got to do better, Senator.
He's actually very likable, and he feels very grounded as an actual person in the military. Like, somebody saw the Hurt Locker and was like, this guy's our military guy.
Hey, James. Yeah. Never turn your headset off again.
And then you have Sebastian Stan here as the Winter Soldier, and he does a great job, what can I say? Great job with the fight scenes especially. And you got Crossbones in this. Super cool bad guy. Very charismatic, very smart.
Thanks. Yeah, you seem pretty helpless without me.
And then you have Robert Redford as the secretary, and he's a great actor, we already know this, and he plays a great bad guy and a great politician, and he's very charismatic. But the cool thing about this, about him and Crossbones, and most of the bad guys, is you could actually spend time with the bad guys and see their character arcs and their development. Most movies, the bad guy's just lurking in the shadows, off in the distance, doing bad things. It's really, really good writing. This is actually something the Russo brothers are known for doing throughout Community. And then you have Nick Fury in here. Samuel L. Jackson is a great actor.
Well, this ain't that kind of movie.
I love it when he gets roles to actually really act, and this is one of them. So charismatic. If you've seen Secret Invasion, that's something else.
Guess we'll never know.
You had a great cast of other characters, but the most important one here is Black Widow, or Scarlett Johansson, because she hasn't really been much of a character until this point. She's been more of just a female character, eye candy, and more of an object. But here, she's an actual character with feelings and flushed out backstory and everything.
Take your feet off the dash.
It's really weird to see. She's an actual girl here, not a guy writing a girl.
I don't know.
Stop lying.
I only act like I know everything, Rogers.
Black Widow has her own character arc throughout this. You get to see her as she goes through the emotions of trusting and the only thing that's brought her hope, to losing that, to really finding herself. And it's really strange. You don't really see movies like this that portray females like this. You either get the princess who needs saving from the prince woman, or you get the empowered woman. There's really no in between.
Ray Skywalker.
This sucks, man.
But here, we get an actual real-life woman who's actually super helpful and talented.
What about the nurse that lives across the hall from you? She seems kind of nice.
Secure the engine room, then find me a date.
I'm multitasking.
But also struggles a lot and fails at times.
That one's on me.
You're damn right.
It's a real person. I know this is a weird thing for me to talk about, but I didn't know Scarlett Johansson could even act until I saw this movie, because of the way that the rest of the series and all of her other movies treat her.
Who do you want me to be?
How about a friend?
Well, there's a chance you might be in the wrong business, Rogers.
I think Marvel execs were just using her as eye candy, but after this movie they were like, could make a real movie for this character. And dang is she hot. This is the hottest she is in all these movies. I think you all can agree with me. This is kind of nerdy stuff, but I love at the end when he puts on his old uniform. In writing and literature, this kind of just means that he's putting on his old self and combining it with the person he is now, or kind of just being his true self. Either way, it's like coming full circle at the end of the story. It isn't just a convenience thing or a, oh, this would look cool thing. There was actual writers behind this. Another nerdy thing, what in literature we call the baptism, and this is usually shown through a baptism of water and a baptism of fire, because the ship is exploding and on fire, and then he falls into the water and they enter out a new person. This happens with Bucky, obviously, from this movie, and it happens with Captain America. Captain America kind of takes his past self while wearing his past uniform, and he comes out a new person for Captain America 3. If you understand anything about symbolism, you'll understand this. They do this in other movies as well. One big criticism that I hear from a lot of people is this movie feels kind of lifeless. It's kind of dull. So I get that because it's a thriller movie, which I can look past. As well as the action in here, like Captain America literally like decapitates a dude and nothing happens. So it's super violent and doesn't really live up to how physics actually work. The biggest piece of criticism is why not call the Avengers, you know? Whatever, who cares? This movie is like near perfect. Honestly, this is a great movie. The directing's amazing, the actors are amazing, the CGI, the fights, the cinematography, the list goes on and on and on. This is probably the best Captain America film. What can I say? It's actually close though. Hopefully Brave New World really copied from this movie and learned some stuff. If I had to rank this, I'd give it a 9.6 out of 10.
I thought you were dead.
I thought you were dead. Guys!
We got a lot to talk about. And I'm going to be real honest with everyone real quick. I really like this movie. I've seen it a lot. I may be biased because it came out during the time of my life where I was very impressionable.
Does anyone have any orange slices?
First off, we're talking about some weird stuff in this movie. It's not like, oh, Spider-Man discovering courage for the first time, or Ant-Man discovering that he needs to work with a team, or I don't know, but this movie, we discuss international law, accountability, bureaucracy, and other political themes. It's an interesting choice. If somebody told me this were going to be the themes, I would have been like, that sounds like a snooze fest. But somehow this movie pulls it off, trying to convey to you the real effects of what having a superhero organization would be and the repercussions behind that. Something that doesn't get enough love here is Iron Man. I'm in a Captain America movie, so I'm gonna side with him for most of the movie. I do understand where Iron Man's coming from the entire time.
You're gonna turn Barnes over, you're gonna come with us now because it's us.
That's really good writing and really good acting done in a movie to try to convey to you that the bad guy is correct, at least in some way. Now, looking back at Iron Man, a couple years back in Iron Man 2, he tells the government to go shove it.
You want my property? You can't have it.
But I did you a big favor. I have successfully privatized world peace.
All of a sudden, we're presented with Iron Man here, where he's actually pro-government and pro-control.
We need to be put in check. If we can't accept limitations, we're boundaryless, we're no better than the bad guys.
Anybody looking at this would be like, hey, that's not what Iron Man would do. But actually, the character that we've seen, as he's changed after he's blown up a city, after he's let down Pepper, killed all these people, and he finally starts to realize that, hey, maybe I need to try something different. That's called a character arc. Man, is that nice to see. It's subtle. It isn't blatant in your face, as Tony becomes desperate and is willing to try anything, not only to win Pepper back, but to just get better and live with himself at night. And this is him just trying out anything. This is what Tony would do based off of what we know. And based off of what we know from Captain America would probably be pro-government, right? If you would have asked him in Captain America 1 or in Avengers 1, he would have been like, yes, we need repercussions, we need to work with the UN. But no, we've seen Captain America 2 and we've seen Avengers 2, where in those movies, he realized that people have too much oversight and too much control, and the safest hands are still his own.
But if this panel sends us somewhere we don't think we should go, we may not be perfect, but the safest hands are still our own.
These two characters have completely flip-flopped their beliefs, as their characters' beliefs and values have changed over time. These are real people, and it's why we love these characters, because they're real people. They change. They don't stay the same person every movie. This is what they do in the comics as well.
But it's run by people with agendas, and agendas change.
It is a good job of lining this up for you, and even making arguments from the other characters to describe why they might be right.
We have one hand on the wheel, we can still steer.
I especially love Vision's take on this.
Our very strength invites challenge. Challenge incites conflict. Oversight is not an idea that can be dismissed out of hand.
This isn't a one-sided argument. This is a close call. It makes sense. And you kind of get to unravel this throughout the movie of, hey, why Captain America actually might be right. The funniest part in this entire movie is just Sam and Bucky in the car.
Can you move your seat up? No.
I love seeing Black Widow and Captain America's relationship in this. Like, they're like brother and sister, and like these weird best friends. And I love seeing that again.
Mother, what are you doing here?
I didn't want you to be alone.
Awkward sibling hug. Pat, pat.
Most of these actors are really, really good, and they really do get some time to shine and show that they are good actors, but especially Robert Downey Jr. He really steals the show in this movie.
Who's putting coffee grounds in the disposal? Am I running a bed and breakfast for biker gang?
And I love looking at this and feeling like a lot of this stuff is unscripted. A lot of his insults, like,
Manchurian Candidate, you're killing me. There's a truce here. You can drop...
Crossbones is so freaking cool.
I don't work like that no more.
I loved him as Rumlow in the last one. I love his outfit from the comics, and it's here, and it's even better.
He said to me,
Please tell Rogers when you gotta go. And you're coming with me.
Hey, the Dean from Community is in here.
Dean-a-ling-a-ling.
I love the Dean. He's so funny.
Tony, so generous. So much money. Wow.
But hear me out. I have got this killer idea for a self-cooking hot dog base.
I got some thoughts on Black Panther. This is our first introduction to him. Is in Captain America Civil War. It's already trying to bring all these people together and introduce Spider-Man. And then it's just like, I'm going to throw Black Panther on top of this. And somehow it kills it. I don't understand. I don't know how it does it. Every little detail about him, his backstory, his suit, his fighting techniques, to him as a person, everything is just awesome.
Don't bother Miss Romanoff. I'll kill him myself.
Hey, that's pretty good.
The coolest guy in this movie, easily. And his lines are just so stinking cool.
So I ask you, as both warrior and king, how long do you think you can keep your friend safe from me?
There's a little pee coming out of me right now.
And his character arc in this, going from this rash prince to just becoming his own man and understanding the world, not quick to anger. And that's who Black Panther is. He's the calmest dude in the world in the comic books. Nothing shakes the Black Panther.
They'll come for him. Let them drive.
They do a great job of portraying him, and I say this especially because in the later movies, it doesn't feel like they do that as much for him, and it's so disappointing. He just becomes the hip-hop, normal black guy, and I feel like the other movies do him dirty. Chadwick Boseman is a great actor, one of my favorites, and his ending in the whole MCU, these are some of the best lines ever done.
Vengeance has consumed you. It's consuming them. I'm done letting it consume me.
Zemo just casually waterboards a dude. That's pretty cool. I especially do love Zemo.
Mission report, December 16, 1991. Who are you? My name is Zemo.
I am Steve Rogers.
And this is my kind of hot take that I haven't really seen anybody talk about. I do love Zemo, like enough so that he's my favorite villain in the MCU. We always get the big bad guy who kind of has the same powers as our superhero. Like in Iron Man, you get another Iron Man for him to fight, or in Captain America, you get another super soldier for him to fight. But in this, you just get a normal butt dude. Just a normal grieving father who's gone through a lot and is trying to process his emotions.
You lost someone.
I lost everyone.
Oh, we're so sorry to hear about your brother that passed away. He gets 5 big booms. Boom! Boom!
He's trying to do the honorable thing and get justice for his family. You get to see the crazy stuff that he can do and the limits that he'll go. And I think if you look at this character like this is just a normal dad, like maybe your own father, and he feels like he's been wronged by this group who's killed his entire family, he basically goes full John Wick. I enjoy him in the comics. He's a very smart guy, very clever and evil. But in this, he just wants justice for his family. He's consistently apologizing for the bad things he does.
I'm sorry about your father. He seemed a good man, with a dutiful son.
He doesn't really want anything bad to happen. If anything, he's basically a vigilante. He's not really a bad guy.
But I'd have to use this book and other bloodier methods to find what I need. I don't look forward to that.
Yikes. It's a different take, but it's good. And it's effective. He's the only villain to succeed in any of these movies. His goal is to split them up. He doesn't get them to kill each other, but he at least splits them up. He says it at the very end.
An empire toppled by its enemies can rise again, but one which crumbles from within, that's dead. Forever.
He's very patient, very smart. Things that our own superheroes don't even have. It's almost embarrassing to them.
I have experience and patience. A man can do anything if he has those.
Daniel Bruhl, I think I'm saying that correctly, is a great actor, and he kills it as Zemo, especially at the end.
And the Avengers, they went home. I knew I couldn't kill them. More powerful men than me have tried. But if I could get them to kill each other...
The fight scenes are still really great. Even just the simple ones are really good. I love all the suits in these. Everybody's suits look amazing and believable and useful, not CGI'd the crap out. Like, when I'm looking at Rhodey at the airport, I really can't tell if he's wearing an actual suit. But no, like 95% of that CGI. Same with Spider-Man. Almost all the scenes with Spider-Man are CGI. Crazy. Bucky bombs the place, but it's not Bucky, it's Zemo. And the government thinks it's Bucky. And ever since then, anytime somebody bombs something, I'm just like, was it really them? Yeah, this movie definitely aided in my government distrust. Thank you.
No windows on the side, and see underneath where there's like a pod thing? What's that, right?
Something I think this movie doesn't get enough love for and is kind of underrated is Spider-Man. I don't really care for Spider-Man. I'm one of the few people out there who are like, when it comes to Spider-Man, alright? But I understand a good Spider-Man when I see one.
Didn't miss my train. This perfectly good DVD player was just sitting there and algebra test. Nailed it.
Peter Parker in this, or Tom Holland, does a great job in this movie at playing Peter Parker, just like from the comics. And it's a different take. He doesn't say the lines that he's supposed to.
When you can do the things that I can, but you don't, and then the bad things happen, they happen because of you.
You serious?
And his character arc in this is great, of just trying to get out of his shell and do new things and really take on more responsibility. That's really everything you need to know about Spider-Man. In the later movies, he's okay, and the intro goes so hard of him just walking in.
Where's yours?
Guys, I think I'm the only person in the world who really likes Hawkeye. He doesn't get enough love. If you just do whatever Hawkeye does, you should be fine.
You're all grown up, you got a wife and kids. I don't understand. Why didn't you think about them before you chose the wrong side?
He's doing the right thing most of the time. Most of the time. It's cool to see his relationship with Wanda.
Gotta help me, Wanda. Look, you want to mope, you can go to high school. You want to make amends, you get off your ass.
And his relationship with Tony.
Futurist, gentlemen! The futurist is here!
Give me a break, Bart.
He's one of the smartest dudes in the room most of the time. And he's just the average guy for us to clean on, to be like, okay, this is what it would look like for a normal person.
You know, this place for maniacs. This is a place for
Criminals, Tony. I think that's the word you're looking for. It didn't used to mean me or Sam or Wanda. But here we are.
I love Jeremy Renner. He's a great actor. He kills it.
Okay, we gotta go.
I'm not really a fan of Vision, though. Or Scarlet Witch. This is getting weird. I don't really buy their love story, guys. I'm sorry. And I really zone out during all of this. Paul Rudd's great in this. His suit looks the best it looks in the entire series. Shows you how kind of stupid all of this is.
Pym always said you never can trust a Stark.
Who are you?
Come on, man.
And when he turns into Giant Man, it's like, man, why don't we have this in the last Ant-Man movie? You've been saving this for now? The final battle at the end between Iron Man, the Winter Soldier, and Captain America, I find to be very compelling, reasonable, and grounded.
Do you even remember them? I remember all of them.
Yes. Very sad. Anyway.
It's not hard to believe, honestly. I mean, if you found out your mother was killed by the guy standing next to you, you may go crazy as well. Especially with all this other buildup and all the other stuff surrounding it. And how Zemo orchestrates it to work out that way.
This isn't gonna change what happened. I don't care. He killed my mom.
There is the long time debate of who would actually win in the fight, Iron Man or Captain America. As much as I love Captain America, I also understand that Iron Man does have rockets everywhere and he could easily blow Captain America up. But I think this movie does a good job of showing that Captain America could win. He's just the better combat fighter in close quarters. And yes, the Stan Lee cameo is acceptable until Rhodey does not shut up. Then it's just annoying.
Are you Tony Stank?
Yes, this is Tony Stank.
I think it's interesting that the Russo brothers choose to have Captain America go back to Germany, where basically this is where the first Captain America movie took place. I don't know what this means, what they're trying to convey here, but it's cool, kind of coming full circle. As well, the Russo brothers just have good writers. In literature, having your characters go east, which is what our characters are constantly going. They're going from America to London to Germany to Moscow. It's usually represented going back in time, and that's what they're doing. They're going back to 1991 to figure out this mystery. That's really cool. It's really subtle writing. Going east usually represents something bad. That's what happens. As well, the Russo brothers have a lot of religious undertones here. Gives the story a little more depth. Bucky and Cap fall into a river again, like they did in the last movie. The Hydra stuff is getting washed away from Bucky. It's another baptism. Like Black Panther talks about what death means to him and how he doesn't believe in his own father.
Death is not the end. It's more of a stepping off point. My father thought so. I am not my father.
They had that whole speech in a church. I guess it represents like this is him receiving direction from God or from the pulpit or from, in this instance, it's Agent Carter, but
Compromise where you can. Where you can't, don't. Even if the whole world is telling you to move, look them in the eye and say no, you move.
It's all great until he kisses her. Then it's like, awesome, like, good job, man. But like, you made out with her niece, man. That's weird. Joe Russo's in this movie, and he's the dead doctor guy. Yeah, that was him. I don't know why he wanted to do that, but it's a weird one. But the font is amazing. it just pops on the screen and it's just like, okay, this is kind of cool. And the cinematography in this is really, really good. Most of the shots are done very well, and the CGI looks really, really good in this. All the outfits and the characters and the backgrounds, it's a nice looking movie. Nails the de-aging in this. So I think after Winter Soldier and after Age of Ultron, the Marvel Universe had really found the formula to making Marvel movies.
Back to formula.
And it's kind of milking it at this point. And you can kind of tell that here. That is one little criticism I do have. You can notice the quippiness is kind of getting annoying here.
Never dropping that, by the way. Table for one, Mr. Stank.
What?
And though I do love this movie, I do realize that, yeah, we've kind of seen a lot of these themes before. I love this movie. It's a great time. If I had to rank this movie, I would give it a 9.6 out of 10. There are some criticisms there. Now we can do the fun part, right? Looking at all the 3 Captain America movies and seeing which ones are better. In number 3, we have obviously Captain America, the First Avenger. It's a good movie. It's not great though. Second, Winter Soldier. It's got some flaws. It could be doing a little bit more. Captain America Civil War is number 1 in my book. Winter Soldier is really good, and so is this movie, but I think this movie wins. It just does everything a little bit better than the last one. It's a really close call. We'll see how Brave New World does based on what we've seen with all the reshoots and all the things. It's not looking good, guys. I want it to do well. I don't think it is, though.
You've got to do better, Senator.
But I'm glad we do have these movies, even if this new one flops. These movies are all great. This is one of the greatest trilogies of all time. Well, thank you guys a ton for watching this. Please remember to like and subscribe to the channel. It really does help out. And I think until next week...